You want to know about Pablo Escobar? Well, stay with me until the end of this video and you'll find out so much information you'll never have to ask about Pablo again. Here I am in his prison. Well, he called it a prison, no one else did. Just above me, this is a guard tower. Most of them always remained empty. The original helicopter pad from when Pablo Escobar was here in his so-called prison, high up on the mountains of Medellín. Look at this. From what we hear, lots of people was murdered and tortured here. Bodies never recovered or found. I won't go in there. Jesus, what was that? Help me! In here.
Agree to all these crazy conditions he was put in to come to prison. He already proved to the government that it was impossible catching him. For more than 12 years, the police was following him. When they were about to catch him, he disappears right in front of them. Because he was able to enter any house, any building, any store, any place in Colombia and say, I'm Pablo Escobar, I'm going to hide in your house. I'm Pablo Escobar, I'm going to escape through the back door. Everyone was willing to help him, most of the times because they were still grateful. Maybe they received something from him, a house, money, a taxi. Maybe their families received something from him, or they were too scared to say no. At that time, if you say no to Pablo, he was going to kill you and do whatever he wants anyway. So he already proved to the government that it was impossible catching him, but he knew that there were lots of people throwing millions of dollars into killing him. The Cali cartel, Los Pepes, the US government, the Colombian government, a lot of people were throwing a lot of money into killing him. So it was just a matter of time. No one can cut, intercept, or even touch his communications. The guy was leaving his prison every day, 2 or 3 times, going down to the city every week, a couple of times, but he was not able to go down into the city every day to control his business, to see everything with his own eyes. So his associates and his employees, they took advantage of this. They started taking a little bit of money here, a little bit of money there, until eventually they were stealing up to $1 million a week of Pablo's money. The thing is that Pablo was making $1 million a day profit. Not the biggest hole in his income, but $1 million a week is a ton of money for anyone. It doesn't matter how rich you are, it's still a lot. So when he noticed, he started calling his employees up here and he started killing some of them. When he started killing his own people, some of them turned against him. They became part of Los Pepes. Los Pepes, los perseguidos por Pablo Escobar, which is basically the ones that Pablo Escobar is trying to kill. They formed a group and came to kill him. So he was part of the Cali cartel at the beginning, part of the Medellín cartel when he started killing his own people, unofficially supported by the US and the Colombian government. And again, we're going to be getting into the details of Los Pepes a little later. For now, the important part, the Galeano and Moncada brothers, members of the Medellín cartel, rich people from Medellín, they were becoming part of Los Pepes. The plan for them was to start working with the other guys, with the Cali cartel. So what they did, they stole $23 million of Pablo's money that they were keeping for him. When Pablo noticed, he called them up here. When they were here, he sent 2 of his employees into the city to their office to see if they could find the money. They destroyed the entire office all the way to the ground, and they found most of the money buried under the main desk. When they had it, they called Pablo on his private line and they told him. And when they confirmed that they have the money, Pablo throws these guys in the torture room or the torture chamber. Under the parking lot, there used to be a small and low room with bars at the entrance, and the torture was to throw the guys in there to freeze to death for 2 weeks. As you can see, we are 1,000 meters higher than Medellín. Right now, we are almost the same altitude as Bogota. Have you been to Bogota?
The fridge.
Yeah, we call it the fridge for a reason, because it gets fucking freezing cold up there. I bet it's not that cold for most of Europeans, but it's freezing cold for us. And that's why the torture was to throw the guys in there to freeze to death for 2 weeks. After that, he took them out. One of them was already dead. The other guy was about to die. So he killed the other guy by hitting him in the face with a gun. Not even shooting him. Right after that, his employees made a big pile of wood in the parking lot and they burned the bodies. The thing is, as you will see in a minute, we're going to have this awesome view of the city from here, meaning that city has an awesome view of us. So when you start burning stuff in the middle of the night in the parking lot, the entire city is going to see it. Everyone is going to ask, what is he doing? What is he trying to hide by burning stuff? What is he burning? That's when the US government came to the Colombian government for a second time, putting pressure and asking, what are we going to do with this guy? He's completely out of control because he's killing people. He's doing crazy parties up there in his compound, which is everything except for a prison. We have to recapture him. We have to take him to another place where at least we have some control. That's when the ex-Minister of Justice sends the Vice Minister of Justice here. In this building, the guy was trying to convince Pablo to go to another place. That is when Pablo starts getting telephone calls from the bottom of the mountain. People were calling him to tell him, hey, we saw police going up the mountain. They are going to be there in half an hour. The main reason why this place is in the top of the mountain is because there is only one road to go up and down. So he was able to control who was coming. And of course, he had more than enough time to escape. So he goes back into the room where the Vice Minister of Justice is and he tells him, give me 1 second, I have to do something, I'll be back in a minute. Out of the room again, locks the door, walks around the property, picking 9 of his most trusted employees, and he walks out of this room. It was kind of like that, but more simple. Remember, there was a perimeter 1 kilometer around the property with only 2 police officers inside, without guns, without radios. 1 in the main door, 1 in the back door, without guns and without radios. Pablo was going out with 9 guys, most of them with military rifles. So the negotiation with the police was right here, and it was something a lot more simple to what they show in the series, like, guys, you know what? Bye. He just left. Also, there were 2 tunnels in La Catedral, both of them going towards the main road, and that was to smuggle prostitutes and drugs and things inside for the parties, not to escape. Remember, this guy was leaving his prison every day, 2 or 3 times, not through tunnels, jumping over the barbed wire. That one is the last one standing of 6 fake watchtowers. Fake. Because out of 6, only 2 of them had ladders to go up and down. The other 4 had mannequins dressed as guards, pretend to be guards. It's a fake prison in all the possible ways.
This has been built to signify all the lost souls who was caught up in the cartel war. This is also built on the grounds of Pablo Escobar's former home, the king of cocaine. This guy amassed over 30 billion at the time of his death, an estimated 70 billion now, and boy, what a place it is. I came here 9 years ago and his building was actually right behind me, this big building here, so it's actually on the grounds, and there's a fence round that you weren't allowed in. But this memorial park was built 5 years ago, and look at it. It really is something. Once a year, a lot of people come down and they commemorate all the people who were lost. 43,000 hulls have been put into this memorial, over 43,000 hulls, but it's estimated to be a lot more.
So more than 90% of the victims of this war were innocent people in the wrong place at the wrong time. We are witnessing the growth of a generation without moral frontiers, without ethical principles or values, and that's what we are trying to fight with some amount of clarity. He was publishing this in the newspaper once a week as a protest until he got killed. But also, he was helping the government a lot by giving them all the information the reporters working in this newspaper were getting from the Narcos while doing investigations for the news. Now, on the wall, on this side, we have 43,800 little holes, which are representing a victim of this war, and this is the official number of victims. Unofficial number says that it can be 2 or even 3 times this. There were lots of victims in remote areas, sometimes entire communities, but sometimes entire towns getting killed in the middle of nowhere. No one actually counted them. That's why we know it's more than this, but we don't know exactly how much more. As you can see, flowers all over the place. Some of them are fresh, some of them are dry. The purpose of the wall is for the families of the victims to come here, do some prayers, leave some flowers. Every once in a while, usually at the beginning of each year, there is a big Catholic ceremony where thousands of people come to put flowers in all these little holes. They write messages of peace with different colors of flowers. In the night, there are lights inside the wall and it gets lit. Looks amazing, looks like a night full of stars. Now, we are going to the opposite side of the wall to see the timeline with all the attacks. Follow me. Especially to prove his point, because he was taking pictures right in front of the White House with his son when the US government noticed they removed his American visa and sent him back to Colombia. At that time, no one was able to prove that he was into cocaine trafficking. Everyone knew that he was into something illegal, but they were not able to prove it. And it was also the first time when 7 Colombians went to prison to the United States for cocaine trafficking. For those 2 reasons, he went and bombed the only place that's US soil inside Colombia, the United States Embassy. But also, just because of that, something called the Colombia Plan started. And the Colombia Plan is a big injection of money, training, personnel, equipment that the US government makes not only in Colombia, in different Latin American countries to help with the war on drugs. It started more than 35 years ago with this, and it's still going. With a different name, a different way of operation, but still happening. The second attack is the Palace of Justice. The M19, which is an illegal guerrilla group, they wanted to take control of the Palace of Justice in Bogota to steal the criminal records of everyone and then burn them. Pablo paid them $2 million in cash, plus weapons, plus explosives. In exchange, they stole his criminal record and burned it to prove his point, because his criminal record at that time was almost nothing.
Here we are at one of the many football pitches that Pablo Escobar built for the community. Apparently it's around 100 throughout Colombia that he actually built, and whatever he did for the people, there was always some form of payback. So with this football pitch, he actually hid a load of guns, revolvers, which he took away at some point during his reign of terror. But yeah, really good football pitch as well. I'd love to play on this. I'm sure it's been changed over the years, but this is a real nice neighborhood in Medellín, and it's a beautiful day.
Getting enough money to buy houses close to where he lived, he gave all these houses to families that he knew that were paying rent. Imagine, you have your typical traditional Colombian family, I don't know, maybe 6, maybe 9 people. The guy comes to you and gives you the keys to one house. Now you have a place to stay, a place to live with your family. He also gives you the keys to 2 taxis. Now you have a way to make money. Basically solve your situation, at least for a while, but then he comes back to you and tells you, now I need you to hide someone in your house for 6 months. And how do you say no? He just gave you a house. Even if you say no, he's going to kill you and do whatever he wanted. That's how he ended up with so much power.
Thanks for watching, hopefully all the way until the end. This is the end of this video, and it was also the end for Pablo Escobar. It all ended here. There's so much tourism that one thing what Pablo Escobar did do is just create a buzz around Colombia, and it's now a totally different city. Long gone are the days where you'd be scared for your life, and now we're in a city of innovation, beauty, and the economy is thriving. Thanks for watching. See you next time.